Mana Hello, this is Tracy. May I help you? Hello? Hey, mute my phone?
All right, good morning, everyone. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Monday, February 22nd, 2021. Compliance with the 33rd emergency order from the Texas Supreme Court, we are not conducting in-person proceedings. However, we are using Zoom in order to give the public meaningful access to open courts. We are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube. I'd like to remind everyone this is still a court proceeding, so people are expected to behave appropriately for court. So that means please be dressed appropriately and behave appropriately. Do not have bright lights behind your head, as that tends to shadow out your face. Please do not have a moving background like being in a vehicle or on the jogging trail. Please do not use the lavatory or take showers during court. Please restrain your domesticated animals during these court proceedings. You're also, if you are not an officer of the court, expected to be on camera, behaving appropriately for court. We do not want to look at ceilings or blank empty spaces, such as the closet door. So LG K40, you do need to be here on camera. If you are an officer of the court, of course, as you find appropriate, please feel free to turn off your camera if necessary. I'm now going to close the waiting room or enable the waiting room. So Sherry Tajani / Cole, please turn on your camera. Sherry Tajani Cole, please turn on your camera. Thank you. So Ms. Cole, please move the camera to a place where you don't have a bright light behind you, as that tends to shadow out your face. Okay, so at this point, we are doing I don't know if you received the emails, but we're going to do all the original initial detention hearings first today, and then we'll return at 1:30 for the 10-day hearings. So, all right, so we're going to start with Ebony Ortiz. Ebony Ortiz.
Hey, Judge.
Yes.
Detention intake was having some technical difficulties, so I'm not sure if they're on yet.
Okay, is that all of them or just the?
No, that's the caseworker for Miss Ortiz. She's actually with Miss Kelly's unit.
Okay.
So they might not be on. The young lady should be there.
All right. Miss Ortiz, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a child's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Do we have a parent here for Miss Ortiz?
No, Judge. No parent.
Okay, can you angle that camera down so it's not at the ceiling?
Judge Kim, I apologize to you, but this is one of the children I saw in detention as the guardian. I think she's a CPS child. Just
okay, we have somebody from the department here for Ms. Ortiz?
And it's a different county.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I mean, let's see, you're 16 years old, and back on February 12th, Fort Worth PD were dispatched for a runaway call. When they arrived there, they found you sitting next to your father inside the laundromat. They talked to you, you refused to give name, confirm your identity. Your dad claimed not to know you, and he was just there to wash his clothes. So the officer kept on investigating, and he spoke about being your dad. When he started to ask about you, he said he didn't know your name, but then confirmed your name was Ebony, and said he had been helping you since you ran away from mom back in November. And so Dad said he knew you were a runaway, but he was still harboring you. All right, and so you're a runaway out of San Antonio. All right, so CPS is here to pick you up. So Ebony, you understand the situation that I'm in. All right, if you're a runaway, the law says you have to be with a parent, and that's not necessary. And here's the thing, Ebony, it may not be with the best parent for you. It may not be with the parent that you want, but the law is the law. When a court orders something, you just have to follow the law. All right, so I know you didn't want to be here, especially over the last week, but we didn't have a choice. We weren't going to release you. I'm going to release you to CPS to come and get you to return you back to your mom, okay? So if you've got issues going on, you should have a guardian ad litem appointed to your case. Talk to that attorney. They may be able to help you resolve any kind of conflict, but we just can't have you running away, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Ebony. Detention Snyder. Okay.
Copy, Your Honor. Just give us 1 second on Mr. Snyder. He was further down my docket.
All right, thank you. How's that further down the slide? Oh, really?
Judge Kim,
Yes.
I'm finally able to be on the Zoom. I apologize. I had technical issues and IT just fixed my computer.
Okay.
I can answer any questions regarding Ebony Ortiz, and I also have Mr. Detention Snyder.
Okay. Yeah, so Ortiz, I'm just going to detain until CPS picks up.
They're about to be in the facility to pick up the child.
Okay, thank you, Pauline.
Yes, sir. Now, in regards to Detention,
We're waiting.
is.
They still haven't brought him
Oh,
over.
we're waiting. Yes, thank you.
We have him, sir.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Snyder, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 3 days. I have to decide whether to keep, or 2 business days. Decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. You're here. So you're 15 years old. You're on TJJD parole, and there's a warrant out of TJJD for you. Yeah, they're saying that you've been vandalizing your mom's home by kicking and punching holes in the wall, threatening more, and she doesn't feel safe in her own home. So, Paulina, where's he on parole? Where's this case out of that he was committed from?
I know he has prior history with us. I am not sure where he was committed from. I can check in the chronological notes. Probably it could be us, but I'm not sure at the moment. Where
Judge, he
was
told me, Judge, is Frank, I was his guardian too. He told me he was on out of Tarrant County is what he told me. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so he's on parole for ag assault with a deadly weapon of a family member.
Yes.
Now he is managed in 5 days to drop down to level 3. So Detention, I hope you realize, I mean, I'm going to hold you because TJJD has a warrant for you. I hope you realize that before your I don't know how long your sentence is, but before your 19th birthday, it's likely we're going to have a hearing. I'm going to decide whether to send you to adult prison or not. And so your detention records while you're here for the last week will come back to that hearing. So everything that you do, there's a level of accountability. So I hope you make good decisions. Either way, I'm detaining you until TJJD picks you up. Thank you, Mr. Snyder. All right, Ajathin Austin.
Yes, Your Honor.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Schumer. Ajathin, Judge Kim, this is a detention hearing. Law says when a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you, release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Mr. Shoemaker, your attorney, is here. So let's see. Back in December, Forward PD brought you in for a robbery call. They were working at AT&T store. People entered the store, pointed a gun, demanded the cell phones, went to the safe. They took 10 iPhone 12s and 10 iPhone 12 minis and the victim's phone. FBI tracked the phone to Dallas, and you were brought over here through Fort Worth PD. Evidently, either I or another judge let you go out of here, and then we issued a warrant for you that your guardian said that you were no longer working the house since you were making inappropriate advancements towards his daughter. So, all right, well, Ajathin, at this point, Mr. Shumik, do you have
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
any ideas where you can go?
Yes, sir. We just got a new, I don't want to say idea, location with another relative. I just received that information literally a few minutes before this hearing. Personally, I would like to investigate that myself. And then if it's acceptable, then I will get Ms. Guerrero in touch with that person. And then they can have a conversation and hopefully, if that place is acceptable with everybody, then we could even, notify the court however the court deems necessary.
Right, okay, so Ms. Guerrero, we gave him a drug test when he came back in. He was clean, correct?
That is correct, Judge.
Okay. All right, so at this point, Mr. Shoemake, you just want to hold off until you can make a decision on whether it's appropriate for him to go there or not?
Yes, sir. And then I will be in touch with Ms. Guerrero.
Let's go ahead and do that. Do we have a parent here for Mr. Austin?
I don't believe so. His sister is 18 and she was the legal guardian, but not at this time.
Mr. Shoemake, I just have to check a box.
Yes,
Judge,
sir.
Miss Cole is here. That's his guardian.
Oh, Ms. Cole, are you here? Ms. Cole?
She was here a few minutes ago. She's on, Judge.
I'm here, Judge Kim.
Okay, there we are. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Mr. Shoemaker, I'm going to go and detain him for now, but since he came in with the person taking custody of him and he was clean, I'm okay releasing him at any point. If you just let my coordinators know that you found an appropriate place for him, I'll go ahead and sign a release order. So that's
Yes,
just let us know. I just think this has to do with you not smoking weed or using drugs while you're out. And it seems like you didn't break any laws. You just created an uncomfortable situation where you were. So I'm willing to release you back to the community. I don't think you committed a new offense. I don't think you broke the law or the conditions of your release. This is just a situation of finding a good place for you. So I'm only holding you long enough it takes to find a safe place for you to go. Safe for you and safe for the community, okay?
Yes, sir.
So but if you get dropped down on your levels, because you're level 1-0, if you drop down, this deal's off, right?
All right.
So you got to keep that level 1-0, and that way your attorney holds the keys to get you out of here whenever. But if you drop down behavior levels, we have to revisit this, okay?
Yes,
So
sir.
just keep on doing the right thing. Mr. Shoemaker, just make sure the person who's actually taking possession of the child understands if he runs off and fails to appear for court, the court can issue a warrant for their arrest.
Yes, sir.
Going to bring him to court. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge.
Thank you.
Byron Beasley.
No, no, wait, right now, sir.
All right, Mr. Beasley, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. And I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Mr. Adniji as your attorney. Mr. Adniji, are you here this morning? I don't think I saw him yet. All right, Ms. Hopkins, I'm going to ask you to step in.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. All right, so Byron, let's see, you're 15 years old. You came in for an assault case back in February of 2019, which you got a supervisory caution for. And now, let's see, on Valentine's Day, police were dispatched a robbery call at a 7-Eleven. When they got there, witnesses pointed the police in the directions where the suspects ran. Saw about 6 males matching the description, standing in the Kroger parking lot, right behind the 7-Eleven. 5 took off running when they saw the police. Police gave chase, told them to stop, and detained them all. Suspects had on them what had been taken from the 7-Eleven, including alcohol and candy. 2 clerks told the police that 6 came into the store, went to the restroom, came out, and all of them left. Short time later, all returned and entered the one-person restroom. Clerks could hear the air dryer working, told them they need to leave. They weren't going to buy anything. One of the suspects told the clerks he was going to knock his bitch ass out. The clerk said he can call the police. One of the suspects said he would kill the clerk and the cops too. That time, they began to assault the 2 clerks, hitting them each 2 to 3 times in the face, grabbed a bunch of items and left. They returned, said it would take the police a long time to arrive. due to the weather and stole some more items from the store. Well, this kind of group gang activity is something that really concerns me. Do we have a parent here for Mr. Beasley?
Yes, Your Honor. She's in the lobby.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. So mom's there.
There you are.
All right. So mom, well, check something. What was he doing out last Sunday at 11:30 when the cold was coming in?
He was out with some kids walking around.
But why was he outside the home?
I have no idea. And it's because I actually was told he was spending the night at one of the little boys' house that he was with. Okay. And the mom came and I'm not gonna say he was out. The mom came and got them because they had went to the skate ring Friday, and she came back and got them to spend the night. He spent the night at our house Friday, and Byron was supposed to be at her house Saturday. And like this is, I mean, I know you said you see something in February with him, but this is not his behavior at all. Byron goes in the school and he lives in Everman with my mom.
Okay, so mom, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is his behavior. Mom, you can't say it's not his behavior at all because evidently it is his behavior. So I'm at this point with this kind of activity, he does. So what I'm saying is he's not getting the supervision that he needs, not because you're not trying to do it, but it may be because he's refusing to take your supervision. At this point, I'm concerned about this type of organized activity, especially when he has a history of assaultive behavior. And so
he had a fight February was a fight he had at school. It wasn't like he was at school and some little boy spit on him or something, and they had a fight, both of them.
Okay.
And that's what happened with that. It wasn't like, it's not like he had.
That is still a history of assaultive behavior, and it sounds like you're enabling your child. I'm not making it seem like it's okay. I'm just letting you know. You're telling me he's a good kid, he doesn't do things like this, that somebody spit on him, so he's justified in the fight. I don't know what's going on, but he has a history of violence, and I don't like the violence.
He is a follower, and he has a problem with getting in the wrong group with people.
So then, Mom, why isn't he following you? Why isn't he listening to you? Why isn't he paying attention to your rules?
Well, I was telling you that he lives with my mom in Everman because he goes to school in Everman, and he goes in school. And when he come home on the weekend, he's been over at my mom's house by himself all week. And so, I mean, he a boy, so I never would justify anything that he's doing is right because I'm very disappointed with him because that's not him. Because I have a son that's there, that's the one that cuts up, and that one right here is not him.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
That doesn't help me feel comfortable about 6 boys coming in, ganging up on 2 employees, stealing things, then coming back, saying the police aren't going to be here and stealing more, and then running from the police. So he's not a good boy. That's the problem, Mom. You have to understand, he's not a good boy. Good boys don't run from the cops when they say stop. So anyways, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and detain you, Byron, and then I'll make a decision later on, but I'm not comfortable yet releasing you. Thank you. Jamal Briscoe. Amadeus Jones, yes, thank you. All right, Mr. Briscoe, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, we'll provide one for you. Mr. Daniels is your appointed attorney. Good morning, Mr. Daniels.
Good morning, Judge.
So, Mr. Briscoe, this is also with the 7-Eleven, came in, went to the bathroom, hid, assaulted the clerk, left, came back, said the police aren't going to show up, and so went to the Kroger parking lot and ran from the police. And you have no history of this department. All right, so Mom, your mom?
Yes, sir.
All right, so my question is, why was he out at 2 o'clock or 11:30 at night, Sunday night?
So he told me he was staying the night with a friend. I usually track his phone. I have GPS on his phone. This is not him. This is him with the crowd he ran with. And I usually check it. He told me he was staying the night with a friend. I don't let my kids out after 9 o'clock.
So what?
That's why him staying the night with a friend, that's where he was supposed to be at.
All right, which friend was he supposed to be at?
He was supposed to be with Byron, the one you had before this.
Did they go to school together?
They did back in 7th grade. They all live in the same apartment complex as us. Well, his mom does.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. So Sunday night, Valentine's Day, that's when this storm was about to roll in.
Right.
And it's supposed to be freezing rain and snow and everything. Why were you letting him spend the night at a friend's house?
He'd been staying there all weekend. Like they stayed back and forth. And like I said, I track his phone. So usually before I go to bed, I check his location because I know where everybody lives. And that's where he was supposed to be at. But I didn't check it that night. I fell asleep. And he was out when he wasn't supposed to. That he knew he wasn't supposed to, because I have strict orders at my house. My kids don't go outside after 9 o'clock. No kids knock on my door after 9 o'clock. But I said, this isn't him. He's never been in trouble.
You can't, so you saw the previous hearing. You can't tell me it's not him.
Yeah,
It is.
no, I understand. No, I understand. He knows what he's doing.
Mr. Jones, you can't walk around during court. Amadeus Jones, you cannot walk around during court. This is court. It's not exercise time.
But like I've told him, if he's released, I've already confiscated all the social medias. I've deactivated all those. He will not have his phone. He's not leaving my house. No kids are to knock on my door. I have 2 other kids to think about. So there's no nothing. He's going virtual on school. There's not even going back on campus. He's going virtual on school.
Your son smoke weed?
Not that I know of. I mean, that's what he does when he's outside running his friends. I can't justify for him.
Permission to give him a drug test?
I'm sorry?
Can I have your permission to give him a drug test?
You sure can.
Okay. So, Jamal, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm liking the level of supervision your mom is saying she's gonna provide, so I'm gonna do this. I'm okay with the idea of releasing you. However, I'm gonna ask you a question. Don't answer the question yet. The question I'm gonna ask you is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be clean or dirty? Now, before you answer that question, there are 3 ways this works out. One way is you tell me that you're clean. We'll put you on an EM, I'll release it to your mom, and you go home today. The second option is that you tell me that you are dirty, that we test you, we find out what you're dirty for, and then I'm gonna hold you. Yeah, as long as you keep level 1 outstanding for 3 more days, then I'll go and release you on electronic monitor to your mom. However, if you tell me that you're clean and you're actually dirty, I'm just going to keep you and decide later on when to release you. So that being said, my question for you is, if I give you a drug test, are you going to be clean or dirty?
I'm gonna be dirty, sir.
Okay, what are you going to be dirty for?
Marijuana.
Okay. And so, Mom, that's a conversation you may want to have with your son to figure out how much he's been using, where he's getting it from, all these things. That's not my business right now.
Yes, sir.
I don't think those are appropriate questions for a judge to ask, but I certainly think they are appropriate for a mother to ask. Okay?
Oh, yeah, there'll be a
So
lot.
we're going to go ahead and detain him. Who's the probation officer? Juan Lahara.
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
72 hours, as long as he keeps the level 1L, we'll go ahead and release him on electronic monitor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And we'll give him a drug test, because if he's dirty for anything else, then we're going to go ahead and keep him longer. Okay?
Okay, yes.
All right.
we will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Alexander Hernandez.
He's on his way, sir.
If you want to.
Wait for Mr. Juan in the lobby.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Masek as your attorney for this case. Good morning. I thought I saw Mr. Masek. Is he here? Oh, there we are.
Right here.
Good morning. All right. So, Mr. Hernandez, you are on probation for evading arrest of a motor vehicle from last August. and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. And in November, we issued a warrant for you for violating your EM and taking it off. And we finally caught up with you. And we finally caught up with you. You got arrested last week and you tested positive for marijuana while you're on probation. Well, so Ms. Lopez, my question for you is, you got on probation in October, and a month later, he cut off his EM.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your note saying that he just started probation, so he had not engaged in counseling. How long would it take to engage in counseling?
As I'm hoping in the next few days, Your Honor, if he's released, he just cut it off. He also will have a substance abuse. He tested positive and has not had a substance abuse done yet, referral.
So I guess my question is, it was a month that he was on probation and he still hadn't started counseling. How long does it take to start counseling?
The referral was made from intake, Your Honor, and they had made contact, to my understanding, and they weren't going out to the homes because of the COVID, and he had started the actual intake, but then he took off the monitor and ran.
So literally, we didn't start counseling yet. We didn't do the evaluation yet because of COVID. So literally, the only thing he had to do was not cut off his monitor.
Right, Your Honor. He was going to school and he did start on his community service, but then he just one day randomly cut it off.
Yep. Well, Mr. Hernandez, do we have a parent here for Mr. Hernandez?
She was trying to log on, Your Honor, from home, but I don't see her.
Okay. Well, there's people in the waiting room that if they're late to court, then I don't let them in. So, all right, Mr. Hernandez, this is just part of the deal. You cut off your monitor. There's consequence for that. So we'll see you at a 10-day hearing, decide whether to release you or keep you here. So
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you.
I'll give you
Cameron
a call.
Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Mesa.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Jackson, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day detention hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. The law says when a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days to decide whether what to do with you. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Shaw as your attorney. I think I saw Mr. Shaw earlier.
I'm here.
Good morning, Mr. Shaw.
Good morning.
The beard's coming in nicely.
Well, it's about 6 months.
COVID beard. All right, so Mr. Jackson, let's see, you're 16 years old. Oh, wow. Let's go over your history. So you just turned 14 years old, you pick up a weed case, you get out 3 months later, you get arrested for 2 counts of burglary of a vehicle, you get out. I guess you're placed on probation, maybe you get arrested for a burglary of a vehicle a month later. You're released from here. About 10 days later, you're arrested for giving fake info to a police officer and for graffiti. Then you get out, get released. About a week later, you're arrested for felony theft from a person. And evidently you were released. And 4 days later, you get arrested for, I think, stealing a car and criminal trespass and unauthorized use of motor vehicle. I guess you're released. 5 days later, you get arrested for evading arrest and stealing a car. You're released. That one you're on probation for. You get released, we issue a warrant for you. So you go about 6 months before you get arrested again for evading arrest. At this point, you are 15 years old, which the DA dismissed that case. 5 months go by, you get arrested for assaulting a security officer, and you're released about 4 months later, arrested for criminal trespass. So I guess in May of last year, you absconded. And you absconded for 9 months. And the PO called you, told you that you need to come forward, and you just disregarded the probation officer.
Can I say something real quick?
Now, hold on. Try to contact the family. You made contact with grandmother, who is very pleasant, trying to help. But she's saying she could not force you to do anything that you did not want to do. And you actually missed court, the last court setting. And while you're out there not reporting on probation, you're also smoking weed. So I'm not sure. I'm just going, I know you want to say something. Do we have a parent here?
No, Judge. Actually, grandmother is currently en route. I was actually expecting that maybe she would have arrived by now because she has been diligently on her way.
I think we talked about her. We really like grandma. All right, so Mr. Jackson, you have the right to remain silent. I've made my decision. There's nothing you really can say to change my mind. If you have a question for me, then I'm happy to answer your question. But if you want to tell me something, me and your attorney both do not want you to tell me anything. All right. So do you have a question for me, or do you want to tell me something?
I need to tell you something.
All right. You don't want to tell me anything. All right. Your
No, I
attorney.
do. I need
Hold
to.
on, Mr. Shaw, is that correct? You don't want him to tell me anything?
No.
Like there's nothing you can say. You could tell me that aliens abducted you and prevented you from showing up, and I would still detain you. Because I'm afraid aliens will show up and abduct you again to keep you from showing up at court. But you can't miss court, all right?
I had no choice.
Oh, hold on. That's something for you to tell your attorney, all right?
I ain't talked to him, stop being here, bro. Like,
Well, I ain't your bro.
no, I wasn't calling you that. I'm just saying, like,
No, you are calling me that, and I ain't your bro, all right? I'm the judge. So I'm going to go and detain you, Mr. Jackson. Zenyana Johnson.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Young.
Thank you.
Ms. Young, are you, before you come?
Yes.
Is he like this with you?
Actually, no. Normally, when I've had opportunity to connect with him on a more positive level, he's always very respectful.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Zanaya Johnson. Zanaya, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought into our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days, 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Can't afford one, we'll provide one for you. We have appointed, I'm sorry? Okay, so Ms. Hopkins, I'm gonna ask you to fill in. We forgot to appoint an attorney before the hearing. All right, Ms. Hopkins, are you there?
Sir?
Okay, good morning. All right, so Ms. Johnson, back on Valentine's Day, they were dispatched to Millwood for a male resident damaging.
You found the new good morning routine.
Google kicked in. All right. So, male resident damaging nurse's area. When they got there, confronted the male suspect, detained him. But during that process, Nayad started yelling at the police and tried to interfere. Nurse started holding her back when an officer stood next to them. Then she spit on the officer, hitting him on the cheek. Then she kicked him in the groin, causing pain. She was detained and brought over here. So she's in CPS custody out of Dallas County. We have CPS here for Ms. Johnson.
Your Honor, I left a message for her caseworker and I emailed her the Zoom link, but I have not had any contact with the CPS worker.
Do you know what her status with the department is?
No, sir, I do not.
All right, so let's set this, Ms. Brazel, let's set this for tomorrow for in-person detention hearing. All right, and so I'm going to detain you, Ms. Johnson, because CPS is involved in your case, but they need to show up, and they just need to show up. And so we're going to set this for in person. If they don't show up, then we'll forcibly bring them here. All right, so we'll see. Ms. Johnson, I'm detaining you for now, but then we'll go ahead and see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Jones. Mr. Jones, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid is brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, we'll provide one for you. Your attorney on this case is Ms. Johnson. Carmen, how are you? Carmen, I saw you earlier. Carmen, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Do you not see me?
I do now. I couldn't hear you before. So So, Mr. Jones, this is, let's see, you're 15 years old. You've never been here before. This is 7-Eleven case. Hit the clerks, stole alcohol and candy, came back, stole again, saying the police aren't going to show up, and ran from the police. So, this is Rojas case. I guess we have mom and dad here. All right, so are you mom and dad?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's figure out. First question is, what was he doing out at 11:30 at night?
Spending the night over a friend's house.
I beg your pardon?
He was supposed to be spending the night at a friend's house.
Okay, which friend?
Cameron.
Cameron's house. Where does Cameron live?
I don't know the exact address, but it's on the southwest side off of 35, in between Sycamore School Road and Alta Mesa.
All right, but that was the night right before that big storm was coming in on Monday.
Yes, sir.
Right, so I guess my question is, why would you let your son sleep at somebody else's house knowing that big storm is coming in?
Well, he was already over there from the day before.
I mean, why wouldn't you pick him up, right?
Well, that's my fiance's best friend, so I didn't see a problem with it.
Okay, fiance's best friend. That makes sense. All right, so, but he wasn't over there at Cameron's, right? He went someplace else. Do we know how he went there?
I don't even, probably by foot.
I beg your pardon?
Probably by foot. I don't even know.
I haven't found that information out yet.
No.
This is my concern. Are you the fiance?
Yes.
Okay. So this is my concern is, I mean, I understand if you're having your son staying with your best friend, but somehow your best friend, it looks like she failed you by letting these kids go out somewhere else. Ms. Rojas, where was this offense? Which 7-Eleven was this? Like what part of town?
Oh, he asked me.
No. Sorry, I don't have that information on my offense report. But
Your Honor, it's Dana. It was on Camp Bowie, West Camp Bowie Boulevard.
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
So
Dana.
fiance, I guess here's the thing. If he's supposed to be in South Fort Worth and ends up over in West Fort Worth, like, didn't your best friend tell you that they're gone?
No.
And Cameron is your friend's son? Ma'am?
Yes.
So Cameron is your best friend's son?
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, you know, I don't know how long you've known her, but you may want to reassess your friendship.
I know. I've been knowing her since since her and her son been 2 years old. So
I'm sorry?
since they've been 2 years old.
They've been 2 years old. What do you
That's how long I've been knowing her.
Okay, right. And there's a lot of history there. So this just may be a one-off. She may have good reason, she may not. But this kind of situation we're in right now, and that Michael's in, it may be one of those you just kind of reassess what's happening. All right, so Dad, what's the plan for us to release Michael?
What's the plan with him now?
Yeah, if us release Michael, what's the plan going forward?
If you release him, he's not being able to go anywhere. He's trying to change schools and all that. He's not gonna be. We already had took all his electronic devices when we found out he was got locked up that night. But he won't be able to go anywhere. If he's not at school, he'll be going to work with me every day again.
All right, what do you do for work?
I'm a general manager at the warehouse.
Okay. So can I ask, I see you said fiance, what's mom's status and how's she in the picture?
This is mom.
I'm
Okay, so well, why'd you call her fiance? Call her mom.
If I call her his mom or my baby mom, I'm gonna get jumped on when I go home. So I say the right thing, so. I'm just telling you the truth. I got to say the right thing, so.
I can respect
Oh,
that.
Judge, that's a smart man.
I can respect that. All right, so, okay. Well, this is what I'm gonna do. He has no history with this department. And he would be released back to you guys. So I'm gonna go through the same thing. Michael, you weren't here, but your parents were. So this, mom, I have permission to give him a drug test?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, so Michael, this is what's gonna lay out for you. I'm gonna ask you a question. Don't answer it yet. My question is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be dirty or clean for anything that you shouldn't be? And before you answer, this is the way it works out. You can tell me that you're clean. We give you a test, you're clean, and you'll go home on electronic monitor with your folks today. However, if you tell me that you're dirty, I'm gonna make you sit here. I see that your birthday is February 26th, so you are gonna sit here on your birthday and get released the next day to go back home. And you can, being here on your birthday is a consequence of you using drugs that you shouldn't be. However, if you tell me that you are clean and you actually test dirty, I'm gonna hold you here. We'll see you at the 10-day hearing. I'll make a decision then. All right, and this is based on the fact that you're level 1 outstanding. So, Mr. Jones, young Mr. Jones, now my question for you is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be clean or dirty?
Dirty.
Okay, what are you gonna be dirty for?
Marijuana.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so mom, dad, now you know. There's some conversation. I don't wanna know any more details about where it came from, how much. That's something that your mom and dad need to talk to you about as parents, and something you need to be truthful to them about. I will go ahead, as long as you're level 1 outstanding, I'll release you on February 27th, which is the day after your birthday. All right?
Yes, sir.
Mom, dad, any questions?
No, sir.
No.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't want to wait up for some wrong.
Ms. Johnson, I'm assuming no objections. Present.
Thank you. My excuse.
You are. Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, may I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Johnson. All right, next we have Kenyon Maloney.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Just for your knowledge, his MHMR caseworker, Joe Martinez, is on this call too.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Martinez. I saw you there earlier. All right, so do we have a parent here for Mr. Maloney? No?
Your Honor, I gave her notice, she told her that she needed to be here. She said she would be.
Okay. So, Mr. Maloney, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought here, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And if you cannot afford an attorney, we'll provide one for you. Mr. Hall has been appointed as your attorney. So this is the 7-Eleven case. Go in, went to the bathroom. They told y'all to leave. Somebody punched them, said they're going to knock his bitch ass out. Took alcohol and candy, left, came back saying the police aren't going to take too long. And then police showed up, ran, went to Kroger. Police said stop. And everyone but Keeson ran. So you ran from the police as well, allegedly. So you were here before in 2019 for assaulting a public servant. You got supervisory caution. Then the next year we were brought in for fail to ID to the police, which you got DPP for, and criminal trespass. And so you were not doing well on DPP. You're leaving the home, going overnight, and they're going to refer your cases to the DA's office. And smoking weed while you're on DPP. So, all right, so Mr. Maloney, it seems like DPP is not working for you. It seems like that if I leave you in the community, you're a danger to yourself and others, so I'm going to go and detain you. Thank you, Mr. Maloney.
Thanks, Judge.
Amanda Modisette. Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Spence.
Thank you.
Sir? Oh, we have MHMR here. Mr. Martinez, I know you're here, you were listening, but I'm not going to release him at this point. If there's no parent here, and he's just got a pattern of behavior, so, all right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
All right, Amanda, good morning. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Barrows is your attorney. I think I saw her. Hello, good morning, Ms. Barrows.
Morning.
All right, so Ms. Modisette, you are 16. You were brought in last October for 2 counts of harassment of a public servant and an assault of a public servant, which you got probation for. A month later, you get arrested for 2 count an assault bodily injury. 2 months later, you're arrested for an assault. A couple weeks ago, I issued a warrant for you, and you're brought here. On February 10th, you threatened to kill Ms. Smith and your CPS worker. You said you had a gun, but there was no weapon found by staff. All right, so help me out, Mr. Houston. What do you mean by staff? Was she placed somewhere?
She's currently at the Family Choice ACH home in Fort Worth.
Okay.
She's in CPS custody.
Okay. All right, and CPS is permanent managing. Ms. Barrows, are you the attorney on the CPS case as well?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, her CPS worker was online, but she had to go to court in Russ, Texas.
Okay.
Mr. Jones is also here.
Well, have we confirmed that she's pregnant?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
it was confirmed on January 28th.
Then at this point, what I'm going to do all right. So Ms. Mata said at this point, CPS is not here. I don't know what the situation is that's going on with CPS. Ms. Barrows, or Mr. Houston, so where is her CPS case out of? What county?
Henderson,
Okay.
Texas is
So who's in the parent room?
Christie, the supervisor.
Supervisor, okay. All right, so how about this? Mr. Houston, could you facilitate a call with Ms. Barrows and the department? And because Ms. Barrows is a great CPS attorney, she'll be able to come up and be creative and figure out what we can do for this child. Ms. Barrows, just get me, come back and let me know, because right now it seems like, one, there was no gun found in there, so just a threat's one thing.
Okay.
There may be behavioral mental health issues, especially if she's in conservatorship and placed
Okay.
there. So figure out a plan for Ms. Barrows, and I'm probably going to go along with it. All right, but since she's here in the building, I think it may be a good opportunity. Mr. Houston, can you help with that?
yes, sir.
Okay, if you, especially for the department, he can probably give you Ms. Barrows' number, and y'all can have a phone call. Even if it's before this hearing's over, just let me know. Give me a good plan. And
Okay.
move forward. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, Ms. Modisette, Amanda? No. Yeah, Amanda, right? You understand what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You understand why you're here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's just a certain line. Sometimes you can't cross that line. Otherwise, you end up having to come to juvenile detention. Okay. But I don't think you belong here. I think there's other issues going on. I want you to go and take care of your real problems first. Okay.
Yes,
But
sir.
please don't come back here. I mean, you know where you can't cross the line. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Braden Moore. Yes, sir.
It's so, I can't hear him. Say I can't hear him. When he was talking, I couldn't hear.
All right, Braden Moore. Mr.
Yes.
Moore, I'm Judge Ken. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought to a facility, you see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to attorney. Mr. Newman has been appointed as your attorney. We have a parent here for Mr. Moore.
He's in CPS conservatorship, Your Honor.
All right, he's in conservatorship. So we have somebody from the department here.
Yes, Miss Merrick, she's on with us, sir, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm his caseworker.
Hello, Miss Merritt. Okay.
Good morning.
So, well, Miss Merritt, can I ask what county is his CPS case out of?
Tarrant
Tarrant
County.
County. All right. So, Braden, you are currently on probation for assault bodily injury and for unlawfully carrying a weapon. The assault case is discharged.
Yes,
So
sir.
unlawfully carrying a weapon in a prohibited place. So you could be committed to TJJD. And we ordered TCAP. You're at All Church Home under CPS. They placed you at Gold Star Academy in spring. Then February 1st, you left when they came to pick you up. And on February 2nd, you had absconded. So we issued a warrant for you on February 4th. You were picked up in Venus February 8th. February 17th, we moved you to Tarrant County Jail. They called saying they didn't have the proper paperwork. So they brought you back here. Oh, this is the one the wrong Braden. Wrong Moore. Okay. All right. So my question is for Miss Merritt.
Yes,
What's
sir.
y'all's plan for this young man?
Currently, we do not have placement for Braden due to his runaways and his behaviors. We're currently working on placement. We had placement for him at one point, but when he did his runaway in February 1st, we lost that placement.
Okay.
So we're currently on the hunt for another placement. He's been denied at several placement agencies here and out of state. So they're currently still working on it.
Okay, so, all right, Mr. Alexander,
Yes, Your Honor.
how many days has he been here total?
Are we counting him leaving and coming back as a restart?
Since the runaway referral.
I believe today would have been the 9th day, not including the weekends. I guess 13 days altogether.
13 days altogether. All right, so Ms. Merritt, this is the uncomfortable conversation time. So there's been 2 weeks. Juvenile detention's a facility, but it's not an RTC. All right, so I try and be reasonable and work with OCOK and the department, but I don't see a new offense other than absconding. But I think that kind of absconding kind of falls into the whole behavioral problems that we're having that he was in placement in the first place, right? So I don't know if it's necessarily a criminal delinquency issue or a behavioral issue. How much time do y'all need?
If you could grant us, Your Honor, until Friday.
Okay.
We totally understand. We're working on it. We may have something today as a last minute placement, but if you can grant us to Friday, we would be gracious of that.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do is for Monday, close of business, y'all need to pick him up one way or another. Okay. So I'm giving you the weekend on top of Friday. So
Okay.
you're saying hopefully today, you're asking me till Friday. I'm going to give you that plus the weekend.
Okay.
But that's based on our deal is you will pick him up one way or another by the end of business on Monday. Is that
Yes.
fair
Yes.
enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Trying to
Appreciate
work with you. I understand it's not easy, but you have to understand where I'm coming from. We're
Oh,
not.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we respect you in the courts for that. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Merritt.
Thank
All right.
you.
So, Braden, the situation here is decisions have consequences. And so when you abscond from a facility, you kind of create a situation that opens certain doors and shuts other doors, and just shut enough doors where you end up staying here. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and keep you. Now I'm going to let you know that there is no situation so bad that you can't make it worse. And so if you cause problems back here, your probation could be revoked for absconding and you could be committed to THJD. So you need to make good decisions going forward. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Braden.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Faith Moore. All right. Are you Faith?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. While you're here, you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Can't afford one, we'll provide one for you. Your attorney, in your case, is Ms. Herrick. Oh, there you are. Good morning, Ms. Herrick.
Good morning.
All right. So, Faith, you're 15 years old. You have no history. You're at Fort. Police went to Fort Behavioral Health. Juvenile male resident said that Faith believed that he had been talking about you, as well as women in general, in a derogatory way. While standing in line, he said that you approached and began hitting him in the face, caused pain, some blood. Police admitted to the police that he hit the victim. And that you are waiting to be transported to a facility in Oklahoma for behavioral issues. I said, Mom, are you your mom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So what's the plan?
Could we rewind to, I was told that the boy said a little more than that. It was quite a bit more vulgar.
It very well could be, but that's not, this isn't the trial.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
just about, like,
Yes, sir. So I do not have one. Our plan was for her to go to Teen Challenge in Oklahoma. I was trying to get her, we were so close to getting her there. Her intake date was Wednesday, the 17th. And then this incident occurred. And so Teen Challenge Oklahoma has now denied her acceptance into the program. They said that they're not equipped to handle this situation. I've not been able to verbally speak to them to see if they would, reconsider. There are other teen challenges across the nation and I'm pursuing them as well. But as of right now, I don't have another place except for home. She was in Fort Behavioral. I need to leave this on, right? Okay. So I'm working on another place because there's some deep healing that needs to take place. But as of right now, I do not have another.
But why was she at Fort Behavioral?
There's been a number of situations. She has done different drugs. There have been, other incidents of assault. Just some bad choices. There's abandonment issues. Dad abandoned us when she was little. So just some deep healing that needs to take place. She was with Dad for a little while. He took us back to court, resurfaced, and judge awarded split custody. At a certain point, Faith was resenting that whole split and she wanted to go live with him. So I let her, and she experienced lots of freedom. And that's where she started getting into different, cocaine, even at age 13. And so
So my decision is it's about releasing her or keeping her.
Yes.
Kind of worried about her own safety if I was to release her.
I understand.
There's a reason why she was at Fort Behavioral.
That's right.
She escalated it a little bit more than she should have.
Right.
So I guess my main question right now is, are you able to provide suitable care for her with her behavioral issues? Not that do you want to, not that you're not guiding her the right way, because it could be that she's just refusing to accept your supervision. And that's just part of why we're here.
Yes,
So,
sir. That has been the case. I mean, if you decide to hold her, it's going to hurt. Faith, I love you. I mean, I'm looking forward. It's a difficult spot. Like
This is
brought
not
her-
about whether you want her.
I know.
This
I
is
know.
about whether Faith, and she's almost 16, right?
If there's something that has changed in her stay here, then I might be able to take care of her until we find a different place. But ultimately, this is not the first hospital that she's been in. This is the longest term hospital. And I feel like they failed us. So I'm not gonna.
Does she have a history of running away?
Yes, I don't know how many times. I can't even tell you how many times. There are many, many, many times.
That's Faith. One thing, and this is just, I'm trying to talk to you like an adult with respect, but decisions have consequences, right? And when you're just a kid, then you can make a bad decision and everyone around you will forgive and forget and just put it past you and move on. But as you get older or you make bigger decisions, then those kind of linger and it's just harder to keep up with it. So when I'm looking at an almost 16-year-old young lady that has a history of running away with behavioral problems, with hard drug use, I'm very concerned about leaving you. If there was no history of running away, I'd probably be letting you go. If there's no history of hard drug use, I'd probably let you go. If you weren't already a behavior place, getting an assaultive behavior, I'd probably. But the fact that we have all these different things going on, I just think right now I have to keep you here. But that being said, it's a misdemeanor assault case. I don't want to keep you here. You have to convince me that there's been some kind of change that I need to let you go. And the way you do that is through your behavior level. You're level 1 outstanding now, and I'm glad that you are. You need to hold on to that. Okay? 8 days of being here is enough. 5 days of level 1 out, just not enough with your history. Okay? It's going to take a little bit more. Your attorney's a great attorney. She'll let the court know when she feels like, because they know me, and I'm very consistent. They know what I'm looking for. And when your attorney feels like we've gotten to the point, I'll reevaluate this and reconsider this. My big thing is I can't have you out in the community and then just run off, right? Not a 16-year-old girl with drug history, right? The too many girls end up in dumpsters and ditches,
right?
With that combination of things, okay? Faith, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm just asking you to respect that I'm giving you my explanation so you understand what's happening, okay? All right, thank you, Faith.
Judge, if I may add one thing.
Yes.
Mom does live in Houston area.
She does what?
She lives in the Houston area.
Okay.
Actually, I live in Lufkin, in Amesbury.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't, that distance, I don't mind. That doesn't bother me. It's just the running away. A 16-year-old girl around the 59 corridor is not always a safe place to be. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
May
you.
I be excused?
Yes. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
I guess I don't know what did he just say? He's holding her. Is the thing?
Cameron Sales.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a correction in my report that you've got there. He has no offense history.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that, but they all matched up perfectly. So. Was Cameron the one kid that didn't run?
No, Your Honor, he was one of the kids that ran.
Oh, okay. All right, Cameron, I'm Judge Kim. Do we have a parent here? Oh, coming in. Great. Judge Kim, this is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I've decided whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent and you have the right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Beaver as your attorney for this case. Good morning, Mr. Beaver.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, so Cameron, this is the 7-11 case over at Camp Bowie on February 14th. And 6-7 young men came in, went to the bathroom, told Joe to leave, started hitting the employees, took some 5 bottles of wine, 1 brownie, and 5 bags of gummy lifesavers. You were positively identified. Police went over to the Kroger behind after you ran. This is one where you also came back, allegedly came back and said the police aren't going to show up, and robbed them a second time. So, and when they searched you at the detention center, they found gummy worms and hot Cheetos. So you have no history with our department. All right, so you are Cameron's mom?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so how many boys were supposed to be sleeping at your house that night?
Now, let's get with that, Sir, sorry. I'm a little upset because of what I heard out there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's keep this all the way real. I left the house around, got to Mr. Jones's around 3-something. We've been friends since their kid's been 2. Okay, they got a son named Mike, who's best friends with another person. Another one.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I apologize.
I'm sorry, sir, but
I just want to remind you, there's a whole bunch of backstory here that we're not here for right now.
okay, I get that, but what was said was that the kids were supposed to spit it out over my house, and that is not true.
Okay, so
Okay.
where was Cameron supposed to be?
No, Cameron was supposed to come home with me. I went over to Jones's house only to be there for a couple of hours because I knew the storm was coming, okay? So I took the kids out to get out for a little while, and Cameron and Mike went to the store, okay? They asked for some change to go to the store, and no one came back. I stayed at that house until 9 o'clock in the evening. No one came back. So I took my daughter and I went home. By the time I got home, I got a phone call from Cameron saying, Mom, I'm gonna spend the night. Spend the night where? Who are you telling me where you're spending the night when you're supposed to leave with me? Okay, this is the problem. This happened on a Friday. He called me Friday night. I did not hear back from him until Saturday, okay? My son does not have a phone. He has a phone that he's using with Wi-Fi, okay? He called me Saturday. Once I got a hold of him, he called Saturday saying, Mom, I'm okay. I'm over on the west side at some apartments, this and that. Still got in his butt because he had no business being where he was, with who he was. I don't know none of the kids he was with except for Mike, because that's who he left with. He was not supposed to leave. He's supposed to come with me and leave with me. And he knows that. And so what happened was all of a sudden, when I talked Saturday with him, he says, Mom, I understand. I chewed him out. And I told him he needed to be home. By then the weather's bad. I can't even get to you to pick you up if I wanted to. He's like, I'm gonna get a ride, Mom. I'm upset with him because this is not like Cameron whatsoever. So next thing you know, I get a call Sunday, he's with you. And the same, he told me the whole story that happened at the store. He told the truth and everything on what he did. Everything you told me, he said verbatim. He's not one to lie. He will tell the truth even if he was a part of it. The thing is, this is not Cameron. Cameron left with someone when he was supposed to go to the store and come right back, did not. And this is where we are, Judge.
All right, so this is where I'm gonna, if anything, I'm consistent. So.
I'm sorry, but I'm just a little upset on what was said because
I understand.
You're supposed to stay with me, period.
Part of me thinks Cameron
with the
probably,
weather.
Part of me thinks Cameron probably doesn't want to go home right now. So, all right. Well, Cameron, I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did with other kids. Well, not all of them. One of them had a prior, but the other kids that had no priors, I'm gonna give you the same opportunity. So, Mom, do you mind if I give him a drug test?
Go ahead. He's probably gonna be dirty if he was hanging with who he was with.
All right, we'll see. So, Cameron, I'm gonna ask you a question before you answer. Let me explain how this works out. The question I'm gonna ask is if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be clean or dirty? Now, before you answer it, this is the way it can work out. You tell me that you're clean, you go home with your mom today. You tell me that you are dirty, then I'm going to, you have to keep clean for 72 hours, or you have to keep level 1 for 72 hours, and then I will let you go on electronic monitor back to your mom. Yeah. However, if you tell me that you're clean and you're actually dirty, I'm gonna make you wait and we'll see you at the 10-day hearing. And I'll make a decision then. So my question for you, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be clean or dirty?
Dirty.
What are you gonna be dirty for?
Weed.
For weed. All right. So as long as the only thing that you're dirty for is weed, then we will hold level 1 for 3 more days, and then we'll go and release you to your mom on electronic monitor.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mom, any questions for me?
No, sir. That's all I needed to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And by the way, Cameron, when you get out, you're gonna have a conversation with your mom about where it came from, how much you smoke, all these things, who you're with, and you better be honest with her, because if your mom calls back and tells us that you're lying to her and she can't supervise you, we'll just bring you back here. So you better start coming up with your mind the entire story to tell your mom, probably about what happened last weekend, and about your drug use. All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Sales. Christopher Small.
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes.
You should have a Tiffany Small 91 in your waiting room.
Is that the parent?
That is the parent. She is not late to court for any fault of her own. I accidentally transposed a number when I sent her the Zoom link this morning.
Thank you for letting me know. Ms. Small, can you hear us? Ms. Small, can you hear us? Ms. Small, can you hear us? Tiffany Small?
Should I call her, Your Honor?
No, I think her connection's having problems. All right, Ms. Small, can you hear us? Okay, good. Sorry for keeping you in the waiting room. Usually I cut it off at 10:30 exactly, but Mr. Lewis told us that you had the wrong Zoom number, so I appreciate your patience while you're in the waiting room. All right, so Christopher, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, we'll provide one for you. We have appointed Mr. Daniel as your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Daniel.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, so Christopher, you're 14 years old. Back on February 21st, Fort Worth brought you in yesterday, saying that your sister called the police about a domestic. When they got there, they met with your mom and sister, who said that your mom caught you in possession of a cell phone that you weren't allowed to have. When you're confronted, there was an argument, escalated. You allegedly pushed your mom several times to force her away, and then pushed her to the ground. Then allegedly you put your arm around her neck and struck her in the head with your right elbow, causing her pain. So evidently your sister pushed you off mom, then was told by mom to leave the room and call the police. Your sister said that you threw a ceramic bowl at her while she was calling 911 but missed. When they got there, police found you sitting on the awning outside window of the apartment and took you into custody. All right, so Tiffany, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
All right. So first question is, why was his cell phone taken away?
He's not allowed to have any electronics due to him doing stuff that he's not supposed to be doing. We had an incident last year where he decided to use his school tablet and communicate with a young lady, and basically they were showing their body parts.
Okay.
So to relieve all that, I just took the cell phones and the tablets because you're not showing me that you're responsible to do what you're supposed to be doing.
Good. All right. Mom, fantastic. So then he ended up with another cell phone or his own cell phone?
He wound up with his, but he also wound up with my niece's phone.
Okay.
And that's what the argument was about, because I called him out on a lie. This is not the first time. This is not the first time he stole. We just had an incident, not last week, but the week before, where a family is helping me get him to school, and he decided to take her work phone. So she went a whole day without working. And when he was asked if he had the phone, he said no. And I looked at him and I said, Chris, well, I'm telling you now, I don't believe you, because you have stolen so much in your time that you don't tell the truth. And I'm telling you right now, I don't believe that you do not have that phone.
So he's a liar too.
Huh?
So he's a liar also.
Yes, he's a liar and a thief.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? Let me go search the room one more time. And when I went to go search the room, the cell phone was hidden. Not only did he have the cell phone, he had it on. She called it So instead of getting caught, he put the phone on do not disturb and hid it.
All right.
So they had to drive all the way out here to confront him about it, and she missed a whole day's of work. Instead, I've talked to him about his behavior. I said, look, there's needs to be some changes. He looked at me and said, I don't need to change. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Basically tell me you need to accept the way I am. We had an incident where he stole something from my job, not once, but twice. I work for the school district. You're putting my job in jeopardy. It's already, my kids go to school in Mansfield ISD. Unfortunately, they get to go because I work out there.
So,
I can lose my job because you want to do whatever you want.
Tiffany, so basically what you're telling us, Christopher's at that point where you're saying he's gonna call the shots.
Yeah, basically. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He has 2 assault charges plus the one that I pressed on him against my mom. So it's
I'm sorry, I apologize for interrupting, but I've already made my decision. I've made the decision that Christopher doesn't get to decide what he does. He's gonna be here at detention. And so he can behave and follow all the rules and show that he can follow the rules and be respectful, or he can stay here. So Christopher, if you can actually cross over and actually do what you're supposed to do and follow and be level 1 outstanding and hold on to it, then I will give you the chance to go home so you can be level 1 outstanding in your mom's house. But if you're
I'm gonna be honest, I don't want him in my home.
Well, Mom, if you refuse to take him, then we can call CPS and get them involved. My suggestion and my request is that you and I work together and set Christopher on the right direction. He's a young man. He's 14. We still have time. Mom, hold on a second. We still have time to change behavior and change his way of thinking to prepare him to be a young adult. All right? I don't want to give up on him yet. I want to at least try with this idea. I believe that when the court and the parents work together for a child, we can do miracles and do amazing things. A lot of times there's things I can't do without the parents. And there's a lot of times there's parents can't do things without the court. But if we work together, it's going to be tough for Christopher, but I'd like to give him at least a chance.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Chris has had 3 therapists. He has a psychiatrist. He has went to a behavior center. He played the game. He lets them know, hey, I'm gonna sugarcoat it. I can't, not only do I have to care about him, I'm caring about his sister, and his sister, this is affecting her really bad. It's not that I don't want him in my home. Sorry, I live by the Air Force Base.
I understand. So, Ms. Small.
This is a lot.
Yeah,
this is a lot.
But one thing to remember is he's never dealt with Judge Kim before. All right. And so I just have a different style. Now the courts are involved. I'm asking for the chance, at least to give me a shot to see what the courts can do to help. I'm not promising that we can, but there's a lot of kids, we get to the point where nothing has worked, but the courts do. So I'm asking for the opportunity. If you're telling me that, because you know your son way better than I do, and I'm not going to pretend to know your son. I just met him for the first time today. If you are telling me in your experience and your wisdom that he cannot be helped, well, then it is what it is, and we go a different direction. What I'm asking for is the opportunity as the juvenile judge to see if we can do something with our services that we can help him. One thing that you will find about me and Christopher will find is that I'm tough, but I'm fair. And so I have expectations from Christopher. He either meets those expectations or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, it becomes very, very painful. Okay. So I'm asking for the opportunity, at least the chance. If you're willing to give me the chance, I know you've tried just about everything you can, but you and I have never met before. This may be the rare opportunity that this is the magic combination between you and me, Mom, that we can actually set Christopher in the right direction. And if it doesn't, it may not work. I'm just asking for the opportunity. Now, the alternative, Ms. Small, is just call CPS and do what's called a wrapper, where you're basically refusing to accept responsibility for your child and just turn them over to the state. But
no, because that's the thing. I adopted him from the state. It's not that I don't want him. I am tired. I am physically tired. I am physically tired.
I understand.
And
So
I'm walking around with a busted lip and scars all over my body, and my body's in pain. And I took off of work for this. This is not cool. And it's every month with this, every month.
that's why I'm asking for the chance. That's all. I'm just asking for an
He
opportunity.
literally had a mentor to come to the house that we already had stuff set up, and this happened all because you don't like what I called you out. I'm sorry.
I think you're doing a great job. Like I am a big fan of yours, but I'm just thinking that Christopher's getting to the age and size and maturity where, you know, it's beyond what you can do. So I'm asking if you'll work with me with an open heart and try and help Christopher this one chance. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at this point, Christopher has to understand that he can go to TJJD and be committed for this. So there's a huge negative consequence out of this if he doesn't do right. And Mom, no matter what you say, you can't stop me. If I decide he goes to TJJD, he goes to TJJD. You can't stop me. Even if you're here on Zoom or in person begging on your knees. If I've made my decision, I've made my decision.
Which is understandable. I'm okay with anything when it comes to help for him. I'm tired. I'm so out of options.
Small, you're exhausted and you've tried so much and your emotional bank account with Christopher is in the red. He's overdrawn. I get that.
For him to look me in the face and said, "You ain't trying nothing." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
No, at this point, the things like that are outside of his hands. Okay, well, Miss Small, take some time to think about it. I'm going to detain him I was going to detain him either way. I mean, even if you ask me right now, I'm not ready to release him. So I'm going to detain him. I'm going to watch his behavior level here. But please.
And he does not have his meds.
Can you get those medications to us?
Yes, I can.
That'd be great. Because he'll have to take his meds. Was he taking his meds at home?
Yes.
Okay. When's the last time he saw a doctor?
We have right now. Everything is over the phone because no one's at.
When's the last time you saw the doctor?
Our last appointment was in December, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So it's about time for another one. All right. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and do another psychiatric evaluation with him and see if the medications. Make sure you get the prescription to us as soon as possible. Okay.
Okay, I'll get it to y'all today.
Okay, Ms. Ball, we'll see, because of the way the evaluations work, we'll see you at the 10-day hearing on Zoom. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So do I pick him up today or?
No, ma'am. I am not releasing him.
Okay.
Christopher has to prove to me that it is safe and it's a good idea for me to release him. So if he comes here and acts a fool, he's going to stay here for a long time. So I need Christopher to start making good decisions, and he has to prove to me that he can make good decisions. If he doesn't, then he'll just stay here.
Okay. So, because I'm trying to get the understanding so I can let his school know what's going on.
Oh no, he's already been enrolled in our Fort Worth ISD campus here at Kimbo.
Okay. So they already told his school what's going on, or
the paperwork, the computer should transmit that information that he's been unenrolled, discharged from Mansfield, and enrolled here at Fort Worth ISD.
Okay.
Okay.
So y'all are keeping them for how long? I gotta write all this stuff down because
don't write it down because that depends on Christopher. So Christopher, what you don't understand is that your mom absolutely loves you and wants the best for you, right? I don't love you. I'll be just blunt with you. I don't. I expect you to follow the rules and respect other people and do what you're supposed to do. You either do that or you don't. And if you don't, there's negative consequences. You do, there's positive consequences. But there is no love between me and the children, right? So it's not that I don't care about you. I just have no emotional attachment to you, right? I expect you to follow the rules and do what you're supposed to do. And if you don't, there's a negative consequence. If you do, there is a positive consequence. So I kind of put it on you to do what you're supposed to do. Right? Christopher, do you have a question for me? Okay. All right, Ms. Small. So yeah, there is no set date. It really depends on Christopher. And we'll find out how he does. And if he's causing problems back here, then there are almost limitless opportunities for me. All right?
So, okay. So he stays, I bring the medicine.
Yes.
It depends on his behavior. That's when I get a call saying I need to come pick him up.
Yes. But he has to convince me that it's safe to return him to your home.
Okay.
And he has to convince me that he will follow all the rules in your home. So it's not going to happen in the next couple of days. It's going to take a little while.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Palm.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we have Keeson Smith. I'll put that out for Mr. Small. All right, Mr. Smith, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child is brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, I'll provide one for you. We have appointed Ms. Jacobson as your attorney. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is 7-Eleven, the robbery, hitting the clerks, taking stuff, coming back, taking more stuff because they said the police weren't going to show up. Police found the group at Kroger, and everyone ran except for Keeson. So,
Say that last part again.
I beg your pardon?
You said
Everybody ran, but who?
Oh, except for Keeson. Keeson's the only one that stayed there instead of running from the police.
Oh.
So the other 5 ran, so he did the right thing there. So that actually works in his favor. What I'm worried about, so Mr. Dodson, tell me why he is level 2 instead of level 1.
Your Honor, he became 3 unacceptable on the 17th for non-compliant with staff instructions. He did get to level 2 outstanding on the 20th, but on the 21st, he went to 2 acceptable for disrespectful to staff and not following staff instructions.
So he's the only one that showed respect to the police by not running.
Correct.
But then he comes here, he's the only one being disrespectful to the staff.
That is correct.
All right, so Dad, Mom, are you Mom and Dad?
Yes.
Tell me about Keeson. Where was he supposed to be that Saturday night?
At his friend's house,
Which friend?
Byron.
Byron. Okay.
They live 5 minutes away from me,
Okay. And what part of town do y'all live in?
west side of Fort Worth.
West side.
Yes,
Yes.
right down the street from the
I
7-Eleven.
called him that Saturday when it started really getting bad to snow. I told him, I said, I'm gonna come get you so I can play in the snow with you. He said, no, Mama, I'm going to get something to eat. I'm gonna call you back. So it was 10:30 that night, and I told him, I said, hey, it's getting bad. I'm gonna come find you. And he said, I'm doing something and I'm gonna call you back. And I called him several times and he never called me back. And so I got a call Sunday about him being in your custody. So he's just
Tell me more. Tell me more about Keeson.
he's a good kid. Oh, yeah.
I can tell you a little bit about Keeson. Every school he went to, even though he might have gotten in a little trouble, he was always the captain of the football, soccer team, whatever team he was on. Like when you said he in the run, he was the fastest kid at every school that he ever been with. Right now, we have people on our phone that's calling us for colleges and stuff for him right now, for him to be something better than what he is. And I want him to know that he got talent and don't throw it away. And I'm here for him. And I want him to know that he's not the person. This is not the kid that I seen last year. So I don't know what's going on because this ain't the kid I raised. So I want him to know that he has talent. We have people that's wanting him to go forward in life where he could possibly. These people told him at 18 they would try to take him to the pros. That's how good he is. So I don't know why he's being disrespectful to the staff and all that stuff because he's a good kid. I watched him.
Keeson has to understand he can get 20 years for this.
Yes, and I told him he don't have to prove nothing to nobody but himself. He's trying to run with the crowd, and I told him he has a mom and dad. I don't know, too many kids has a mom and dad at home. No disrespect, but I don't know. too many kids has a mom and a dad. I was raised with a mom and a dad, so I know how it feels. So that's why I try to keep my family together, because that do play a major part in a kid's life.
And can I add something else too?
Yes, sir.
The last 2 years, I mean, I'm a stepdad. I've been raising him since he was 9 months. His real dad right down the street won't even care about him, tell him in his face on the phone, all kind of stuff about him. I've been trying to tell him. So ever since that's been going on with his dad, it's like he's going downhill. But I told him God sent him 2 dads, sent them an extra dad just in case to back up. And that's me. And ever since then, man, it's like, I don't know, it's like it just crushed his heart. And I've been trying to pull his heart out of that bad water for a minute. So I have to tell Keeson all the time, that's why God have sent me and sent your mom here to stand beside you. Don't falter, Keeson, stand strong. And I understand that you get around the wrong crowds and hear peer pressure and all that and then want to apply it. And I've been telling them not to do that. I love Keeson. My daughter, 7-year-old daughter is at home. She misses him very much.
She's not right now, sir, and I apologize for interrupting. I'm just making a decision to release him or to keep him here, right? So that's what this is. Keeson, I'm gonna do the same thing. So you had the benefit of not running. That worked in your favor, but you're the only one that's not a level 1 outstanding. So that kind of cancels that out. So I'm just gonna treat you like the other ones that have no history with this department. Mom, Dad, do you mind if I give him a drug test?
Please do.
Okay. So Keeson, this is what I'm gonna ask you a question and don't answer it yet. The question is, if I give you a drug test or when I give you one, are you gonna be clean or dirty? Now, before you answer it, 3 ways this works out. You can tell me that you're clean. If you're clean, I'll let you go as soon as you're level 1 outstanding. All right, which is not today, but it's gonna take a couple days because of the bad decisions that you made that made you drop down in levels. Now, if you tell me that you're dirty, I'm gonna hold you and make you, and you are dirty, I'm gonna hold you until you hold level 1 outstanding for 3 days and then let you go home. The problem is if you tell me that you're clean and you're actually dirty, then I'm gonna make you wait. I'll see you at the 10-day hearing, I'll make a decision then. So now I'm gonna ask you when I give you a drug test, are you be clean or dirty?
They can hear me. Oh, I'm gonna be dirty.
Okay, what are you be dirty for?
Weed.
That's it? I need a yes or a no.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll give you a drug test as long as the only thing you're dirty for is THC. You get to level 1 outstanding, you hold it for 3 more days. We'll go ahead and release electron. Yes, sir.
And probably liquor.
And probably what?
Liquor.
Liquor, okay. All right, so Mom, Dad, you know that. Get to level 1 outstanding, hold it for 3 days, and then I will release you on electronic monitor your parents. Make sure you understand you have a couple days to think about. Your parents are gonna be asking you about where the weed came from, how much you smoke, how you smoke it, or vape or whatever, and that, because they're gonna have a come to Jesus and come clean story with you, because you're only, 14 years old. If you're telling your parents more lies, then I'm gonna bring you back here, right? So you can either behave like a kid and I'll treat you like a kid, or you can behave like a grown man, I'll treat you like a grown man. Right? It's gonna be that simple. All right, so at this point, get to level 1 outstanding, hold it for 3 days, we will release you. When we release you, you'll be on electronic monitor. You cannot go back to that 7-Eleven or that Kroger, okay? Any questions for me, Keeson? All right, looking forward. You can always make good decisions or bad decisions. Just make good decisions and life will go good for you. All right, thank you.
And be respectful.
Thank you, Anna.
Love you, man.
Thank you. Jaylee West. Huh? Yeah. All 6 of these? I actually went pretty good. The first one was a little sketch, but. There's always that one. All right, Jaylee.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Ms. Hamrick as your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Hamrick.
Good morning, Judge Kim.
All right, so let's see. This is February 17th. Arlington PD was dispatched to a domestic. Basically, You've been released from Mesa Springs, went to leave the apartment. Grandma said no. 17th, that was like during the snow and ice. So you tried to jimmy the lock and demand the key from Grandma. Then evidently you slapped your brother, put Grandma in a headlock, hit her in the head with a flashlight or stick, caused pain and some swelling. Brother and Grandma gave the same account, and you admitted to slapping the brother, putting Grandma in a headlock, and hitting her with a flashlight. There's a previous family violence case, which we went through mediation. And the grandma was a victim. All right, so she refused to give a drug test. Is that correct, Ms. Guerrero?
According to JCMS, Judge, it says she was able to provide.
Okay, that's fine. So Jaylee, what I'm gonna do is, if you had tested clean, I would be talking to Grandma right now, asking her questions, figuring out a way to release you. But since you did not, it's been too much time, we're gonna go ahead and take a hair follicle sample, and we have to wait for the lab to come back. So you're gonna be detained until we get the lab results back. Okay, this is a consequence for you not submitting a sample when you were asked, okay? So Grandma, we will see you, we'll have another detention hearing after we get the drug lab results back, okay?
Thank
I did my test though.
I'm sorry?
I did my drug test.
No, Ms. Guerrero is saying that we couldn't get a sample from you. So
I did when I first got here.
we'll look it up. We'll make a decision then. So we may have another detention hearing in the future, but at this point, Ms. Guerrero, unless you can see anything different.
No, Judge, it still reports the same on JCMS.
Okay, so we don't have a sample for you. All right, we'll see you after your lab results come back, Jaylee. Thank you. All right, at this point, these proceedings have been broadcast online in order to comply with Article 1, Section 13 of the Texas Constitution, which is the Open Courts Act that requires the courts to give meaningful access to the public to what happens in public courtrooms. However, the Texas Family Code, Chapter 5408, states that when a child is under 14 years old, the court proceedings are to be closed to the public unless the court finds the interests of the public or the interests of the child are better served by opening the proceedings. Unable to make such a finding, I am now going to close these proceedings to the public broadcast. And so those on YouTube will have their stream stopped. There's a 20-second burn off. All the parents for the under 14-year-olds are here in the waiting area. Okay. You'll just give me 10 seconds for the tape delay.